Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Chrisnatha TV. If this is your first time here, please stop what you're doing and subscribe. And if you are coming back, welcome back, and make sure that you are also subscribed. For those of you that are just getting acquainted, I am a certified life coach, author, and speaker. And this is my channel, so be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. So tonight we're going to be reviewing the Encore on BET, episode 2. So this is the second episode for Encore. And I am so excited because I am a big lover of girl groups. And if you are of a particular age, the same way I am, then I'm sure you have a love for them as well. And so let's get into the episode. And so this is the second episode. And in this episode, where it picks up, of course, it picks up from the first episode, but where it picks up, the girls are sitting around and they're talking about Aubrey being divisive. And Aubrey says that she does not like the word divisive. And she feels like words are being put in her mouth and she is not okay with it. If you guys are not familiar with Aubrey, Aubrey is the young lady. She is blonde and she is from the group Danity Kane, who was on Bad Boys Records with Diddy. So if you ever was a viewer and a fan of Making the Band, then you know who Danity Kane was. So now the girls, they meet on the couch and Sita's world. Sita pops up on the TV screen, and Sita, I just love her because she looks a little different, but she is just a reminder of my young adulthood. I believe it was the early 2000s. Sita's World was on BET, so I just love that she pops up. And so the ladies meet on the couch, and then Sita pops up on the screen, and she lets the girls know that they need a queen to break ties, to make sure that things are aligned. They need a leader. And so the ladies have to vote in who's going to be the queen. And the queen is not the queen for the entire time that they're in the house. It's actually for a certain time, and then they vote again. So as you know, it's about to get messy, okay? So the women have to pick who's going to be queen. So Shamari, she is chosen to count the votes. And the ladies have to vote on who will be queen. And so we're not able to see who everyone chooses, but we're able to see that Lamisha picks Pam, Nivea picks Pam, Aubrey did not pick Keely, and Keely did not pick Aubrey. That we do know, right? And then of course the other votes, they're anonymous, yes. So we're not able to see them. They did not show that part. Production didn't show that part. And so they're counting the votes. And at the end, Aubrey has 2, Fallon has 1, Felicia has 1, Keely has 1 vote. Not sure if she voted for herself or not, but Keely has 1 vote. And Pam has 4 votes, right? So Pam obviously is the winner and she is queen. So a lot of the ladies who obviously voted for her did mention that Pam is a leader. She's kind, she's gentle, she's very empathetic and shows a lot of compassion towards the ladies. And they feel like those are the characteristics they want in a leader, in a queen, someone that everyone respects and will listen to. And Pam has shown up and proven herself to be in the house as somebody who's centered, a veteran who really just wants everything to go well, but also wants to do it in love and peace. And I love that. So Pamela says, as the queen, if you don't know who Pam is, you got to find out, okay? She's an OG, but no, she's from 702. Not 702, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong group. Lamisha and Irish is from 702. So sorry, Pam. So Pam says, as the queen, she went to the King of Kings and he is guiding her on what to do. So Pam says she went to the King of Kings and he is guiding her on what to do. One thing I love about Pam is that she obviously has changed her life. She now is a follower of Christ. And I love that about her, that she is not ashamed. She doesn't throw it in anyone's face, but she also doesn't hide from it either. She lets people know that she's a woman of faith, that her relationship with God is really important to her. And I absolutely love that. And Pam is from the amazing group Total. Okay, so yeah, she's from Total. So Pam is the queen, and she says she goes to the King of Kings to know what to do. So now the ladies are back in the studio. So they're back in the studio because the goal, and the queen has mandates, right? So the mandates were to create a certain amount of songs, to create a body of work with this group. And so that's what they're doing, or supposed to be doing, in the studio. And so the producers show them a track, start to help them understand what their harmonies are going to be, their different parts. And each lady goes into the studio and lays down her part. And as you know, when the ladies are singing, like we saw in episode 1, that the other ladies are judging. They're listening and they're judging. Does she sound good? Does she sound bad? Is she off key? Is her pitch off, right? Is her voice shaky? What's going on? And so, as you know, that's taking place in the studio as well. And so everything is going well. The ladies sound great. And now Irish gets in the booth. If you guys recall, in episode 1, they were singing, I believe, by the piano. And it was time for Irish to share, to express herself in song, right? She didn't come off as confident. Her voice was shaky. And the girls started, our twins, right? The girls started to comment about that and have conversations about it. And that is now happening again, where Irish is not coming off as confident in what she's doing. I don't know if it's because she's been out the studio for a long time. She did say that she has not been in the studio for 7 years. However, I don't know if that's what's translating into her not showing up big in the studio, or just her not being a strong vocalist. It could be either or it could be both, right? But she's definitely, her voice is shaky. And so one of the twins come in and just guide her and give her some insight and direction on what she could do, making sure she's not singing from her nose, but she's singing from her diaphragm, and so on and so on. And so also, Lamisha also goes in the booth and sings as well. Now, Pam, so this scene was interesting to me because Pam has a history. We learn in this episode that Pam has a history of dating women. And so now that her relationship with God has evolved, she says that she's been delivered and she no longer has relationships with women. And so Aubrey was simply and innocently leaning on her and kind of like laying her hand on Pam's leg, which in the big aspect of things was no big deal. However, when you are triggered, things are a bigger deal to you. I'm going to say that again. When you are triggered, things are a bigger deal to you. And I can say that because I have been in situations where something was not that deep. It was not a big deal. But if it was a trigger for me, I became overwhelmed. I became stressed. I felt like maybe I needed to vocalize where I stood and maybe set some new boundaries, or make sure my boundaries were shared with the people around me. Why? Because I was triggered. And so in that moment, I don't think Pam was wrong. I just think that she was triggered. So when she started to say that she didn't want anyone to get the wrong ideas, she didn't want anyone to feel like maybe she's still attracted to women, or she still lives in that world. She doesn't, and she just want to make sure that she's very careful about her physical interaction with women, even the innocent interactions. You know, when you have your girlfriends, depending on your closeness of your relationship, you might lean on each other, you might lay across each other's lap, right? Usually for most of us, it's no big deal. But if that's a trigger for you, then it is a big deal. And whether we agree or understand, someone's boundaries is their boundaries. And it's so important as people that we respect people's boundaries. Unfortunately, for some of the girls, this has now almost turned them off and made them feel a way about Pam. And they're almost shocked because they're thinking, we love Pam. Pam is like the mother of the house, right? She is a positive figure. But now we don't know, right? Just one little thing, and now they're not sure. And that's unfortunate because Pam is still who she was when she came in the house, someone who cares, who really wants this group to do well as a collective. So I didn't see anything wrong with what Pam had to say. She was simply sharing her truth and stating her boundaries. Um, Keely said something. She said that God cannot change your sexual orientation. So she wasn't sure what Pam was trying to say, but God cannot change your sexual orientation. I have to disagree because I am also a believer, but more than that, I've heard testimonies of people who have said as well, just like Pam, that God has changed their sexual orientation, right? Maybe they were in the same sex relationships and they're no longer in those relationships. And with their relationship with God, they have been able to grow and not have those desires, right? So that is awesome. That is awesome. That's someone's journey, and we can't discount somebody's experience because it's never been our own. And so it was really interesting, that whole scene. But I like that Pam stuck to her guns and she wasn't rude, but she just set her boundaries. And people do get triggered when you set your boundaries as well. But I'm proud that Pam was able to do so. So Aubrey, Keely, and the twins, obviously, they were really looking crazy when Pam was sharing what she was sharing, and they were offended by what she said. Once again, I don't see what she shared as a negative thing. I just simply saw that she was triggered and needed to set her boundaries. Now, similar to someone who drinks or smokes and they or used to and they don't do it anymore, others might not understand the seriousness of those individuals having to set boundaries. For instance, I'll give you an example. When I am at, let's say, a family gathering, most of my cousins, we let our hair down, right? A lot of my cousins, as we're hanging out, relaxing, they like to drink. And nothing is wrong with that. And because they want to drink, they encourage the rest of us, right, to drink with them because they don't want to drink alone. Now, nothing is wrong with that. That is actually innocent. It's just family having fun. The problem in that is if one of us really had a problem and we're being pushed and pushed and pushed to have a drink, that would now be a problem. So if the person with the problem stands up and says, I'm not okay with this, you're putting me in an uncomfortable environment, you're encouraging me to do something that is harmful to me, and this is not okay, and I'm standing up for myself. So that can be looked at as dramatic for someone who does not have a drinking problem, but for someone who has had one and is now on the path of recovery or not wanting to go down that lane again, that may be a triggering scenario for them. And so I always say, you got to be careful with that. So we can think differently, feel differently, but understand that people have boundaries and they have them for a reason. So now, Keely and the twin had a private conversation. Lamisha, I love Lamisha. She's one of the OGs. She was ear hustling. She was ear hustling. And she was listening. She was like behind a wall. And she heard the twin. She heard the twin talking about Irish and Lamisha, excuse me, not being able to sing as well. And so Lamisha was not here for it. She was extremely offended, as I would be, as you would be, I'm sure, if you're hearing somebody talking about you and you're not supposed to be hearing it. So you hear the whispers talking about you not being a good performer, not being a good singer. So of course that upset Lamisha, but also it hurt her. So she was talking to Shamiri, Pam, and Nivea, and letting them know that she was hurt, you know, because she was basically being talked about behind her back about not being good enough. And she has a lot of years invested in the music industry. And for these girls to continuously come off as bullies, if you've watched the first episode, and if you haven't, please go and watch it as well, you know that the twins do come off as mean girls, right? Yes, they're talented. Yes, they're beautiful, but they come off as mean girls. And that environment is not for everybody. I love Shamia, Pam, and Nivea. I find that they're together a lot. And I like that because they so far seem like the nice girls in the crew, right? The ladies in the house that's trying to be encouraging, that's trying to make sure the group stays together and that everyone has a positive experience. And I'm all here for it. I'm all here for the empowerment, the sisterhood, and the real sisterhood, right? Not the fake stuff, but the real sisterhood. And they're not being mean girls. And I really appreciate that. So now they all meet up in one room, and Lamisha, she just lets the cat out the bag, right? She puts it all out there, and she says that she overheard that she and Irish are out of their element, and she was not okay with it. So of course, one of our cherished twins, Fallon, starts yelling and being the typical mean girl that we have seen since episode 1. So she starts yelling. She admits to what she said, but she's yelling, right? So making the situation just really, really tense. Keely speaks about the division, and she tells Pam that Pam has come off homophobic. And Pam did clear the air. She let her know, you misunderstood. I'm not homophobic. This is just my truth and my journey. And a lot of times when people don't understand your stance, they'll put a label on you, because I don't believe what Pam said was homophobic at all. She never said she didn't like people who were gay. She never said she didn't like people who had relationships with people of the same sex. She said she used to live a certain lifestyle. She's no longer in that lifestyle, and she wants to make sure she creates healthy boundaries for herself. I didn't see anything wrong with what Pam said, but you're always going to have people who just don't get it. And I think that is a space where they can agree to disagree, or if she wants to educate her, she can, or they can just agree to disagree and be adults about it, right? And so Keely says again that she did not come to create music. Keely keeps continuing to say that she is not part of the group. She's not going to be recording, even though she has laid some tracks, some vocals down on the track. But she keeps saying she did not come to create music. So no one is sure why she's actually in the house. And so now Keely is being called a two-face, right? Aubrey is now in the room putting together visuals. I really love this scene because it was somebody being proactive, and also so she was taking initiative, being proactive, and she was also doing something for the group, not just kind of sitting around and having girl talk about who she doesn't like, but she was being proactive and saying, let me be a self-starter. Let me go ahead and be the leader here and be the creative director that Keely is not being, right? And so Aubrey comes, she comes up with this beautiful, beautiful visual. She shows the twins, they like it. And now she's going to present it to the group. So she goes ahead and she presents her visuals to the group. And it's just a really, really nice concept. I liked it. It's clean, it's crisp, it's light. Keely is not pleased. Keely was being very, very sarcastic. She should be the creative director, she feels, and she didn't come up with the creative visual. So of course it's going to make her feel a kind of way, right? But if she was on her job, this would not be a problem. So Kaylee, if you are the creative director, you have to creatively direct, okay? And just do it. Just do it. Don't keep saying you're going to do it. Don't keep giving yourself titles. Just do it. At the end of the day, what matters is the work, right? So she keeps saying she's not a part of the group. Everybody's trying to figure out, why is Keely here? Keely, why are you here? The mystery continues. Are you singing? Are you not singing? Are you handling the visuals? Are you not handling the visuals? Let us know. And so, believe it or not, it starts to get heated, and Keely starts to get beat up on a little bit because everybody's like, why are you here? And it was the cherished twin, Felicia, to be exact, who actually comes to Keely's defense. The same girl who called her Two-Face the night before is now defending her. So that was a very interesting dynamic. And then the twins pulled Keely aside and just really tried to tell her that, like, she has to be clear about her position in the house and why she's there. So guys, if you love girl groups, if you love music, if you love real R&B, this is an awesome show. For a long time, we haven't had a show like this on TV about groups. We've had Making the Band and all these other shows some years ago. So this is the vibe, but it's all women, and it's really, really good. I love it. I miss the era of girl groups. I think it's an amazing era. The music is timeless, and it's a really, really good show. So be sure to tune into the Encore on BET on Wednesday nights. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and share this video with a friend. So I'll be back with another review, and until then, be well.